Hello, everyone. This is Christy Jones from National Wildlife Federation. Thank you for joining today. This is a webinar focused on a competition overview for the 2021 competition. It's fall 2020. I can't believe that we're already talking about the 2021 competition, but it'll be here before we know it. I guess if a few participants could just let me know that they can hear me, that your audio is coming through, that would be great. You can use the chat box. All right, okay, great. I've got some responses. I appreciate that. The webinar is being recorded, so I will get that posted on the website either tomorrow or Monday if you want to take a look at it again, and I'm always available for questions. And just a reminder, Campus Race to Zero Waste is the new name of the program of the competition, formerly Recyclemania. We've shifted over the logos and the name, the website. However, we're still using a few things with the Recyclemania branding on it, simply to make the transition as easy as possible and to avoid any confusion, so folks know that it is the competition that has been around since 2001. And it's just shifting from Recyclemania into Campus Race to Zero Waste. So we'll go ahead and move forward. All right, so the agenda for today, I'll talk a little bit about the purpose of the competition, review the categories, talk a little bit about reporting, although we have a webinar scheduled later this fall to focus on reporting. Talk a little bit about the next steps if you're interested in participating for 2021. Key dates to keep in mind as we go through the fall and into early next year to get ready for the competition. And then I'll also, at the end of the presentation, highlight more opportunities to engage with our team, with our program beyond the competition. This is an unusual year. We all know that we've had many challenges since late February, early March, and I know that things are different at different colleges and universities across the country and in Canada. So if you're not able to participate in the competition this year, we want to keep you engaged and provide you tools and resources to continue the great work you are doing on campus. So I will highlight some of those opportunities. And if you ever have any questions about that or have suggestions on how we can kind of ramp up efforts to engage beyond the competition, I would love to hear those. All right, so first I have a poll question to see how many folks on the call. The question is, has your campus, here I'm gonna go ahead and launch this poll. So has your campus participated in the competition before? So have you participated in Recyclemania before? Give that a few seconds. All right, thank you for responding. It looks like many folks have participated in the past, so I hope some information I share with you today might be new and exciting, and we do have some new changes for the competition, and we do have a couple that haven't participated, so thank you for joining us. All right, here I'll share, let me see, I can share the results so you can see that yes, 39 folks said that they have participated in the past. So a majority of you all have been with us in the before, so that's great. All right, let's go ahead and move forward. All right, so the focus of the program of the competition is using fair and friendly competition to provide tools, resources, and opportunities to help colleges and universities in the US and Canada to improve your efforts to reduce and eliminate waste. And that is, you know, we really see the program as a way to benchmark, so something for you to continue to work towards and set a goal so you can implement strategies each year to increase and improve. And we're always trying to provide more tools and resources to broaden your engagement on campus, try to think of new ways to engage your students, faculty, and staff, and kind of revive their interest in the program. All right, so in a nutshell, what the program is, it's an 8-week competition that takes place in the spring. It essentially starts at the beginning of February and goes through March. So it's 8 weeks, and it's focused on reducing waste and increasing recycling. There are 4 main category opportunities and several special category opportunities. So what that means is and I'll go into more of those details, but the main categories mean you will participate, track, and report for 8 weeks for the entire competition. The special categories, you will report typically for example, one basketball game or for 1 month reporting. Campuses are welcome to participate in one category, or they can participate in more than one category. We try to make it as flexible as possible, and we encourage participants to begin planning in the fall, since the competition begins early February. Most schools have, a fairly long winter break, so you're coming back in mid-January, still just trying to get back on your feet and get ready to begin the semester again. So if you do a lot of planning and coordinating in the fall, you'll have an easier time once you get back after that break. All right, so we designed the competition to make it as flexible as possible, so you can customize your competition. And each year, the program, Campus Race to Zero Waste, is governed by a board of directors, and most of the participants on that board are waste reduction, recycling, sustainability staff at colleges and universities in the US. We also have other members on the board that are from organizations that focus on sustainability and waste minimization. And so each year we do take a look at categories and do take a look at the design of the competition to ensure that it's flexible and it works for all different types of schools, meeting whatever goals you might have. So again, you can choose the categories you want to participate in. You can do minimal to extensive outreach. You can use it as benchmarking. You can also use it as a way to compete against campuses in your state, in your sports conference. You can do internal competitions, meaning, maybe a residence hall against a residence hall, for example. All right, so a couple stats from last year. Now, these are our 2020 competition numbers. They're actually a little bit different than prior years. Last year, if you participated, you probably remember that many colleges and universities closed their doors and went online in March or April. And so we ended the competition early. So our numbers are not comparable with years prior, but we're very proud of the amount that was recycled and composted last year. And so excited that campuses, our 300 college and university participants last year, were ready to have a wonderful competition. And even though their competition wasn't what they were expecting, that it had to end early due to COVID, they reported and tracked on time, and we're really excited to see the results. So I just want to share these with you. Last year, it was last spring actually, 48.6 million pounds of waste recycled and composted, and we were able to estimate that 380 million single-use plastic containers were removed from the waste stream, which is a very important interest of National Wildlife Federation. And then, so this next slide, with National Wildlife Federation, we manage the Campus Race to Zero Waste program and competition. We took over management in 2018. And one of the main reasons we were interested in this partnership is because there are colleges and university participants were doing great things on campus to help reduce waste, and specifically plastics. And plastic pollution in our waterways, freshwater and saltwater, in our oceans, has a major impact on wildlife and humans. So we were really excited to manage this program and work with the campus partners in the US and Canada to help us really address this major risk to wildlife. And so once we get more information online and get get the educational and promotional materials on the website, we really encourage the campus participants to kind of highlight that wildlife connection to the work you're doing on campus, because everything that's recycled, every time that waste is reduced and kept out of the landfill, it does have a positive impact on humans and wildlife. All right, so I want to get into more detail about the categories at this point. Again, this is a lot of information. It's all on the website, and I'm also happy to answer any questions about it, and feel free to send me any questions through the chat. So with the competition, it is 8 weeks. There are 4 main categories, so 4 8-week categories, and that means you will track and report every week for 8 weeks. And then we have special categories, which are one-time reporting. And you, like I said, you could do all of these categories if you like. You can do 1, you can do 2 or 3 or more. All right, so the main reporting categories are per capita, diversion, zero waste, and food organics. And just to kind of highlight what the responsibility of the campus would be is, per capita, you will be reporting on your recyclables, your cans, your bottles, your paper, and your cardboard. If you participate in diversion, you will report on all your recyclables plus your trash and your food organics. I'll jump to the bottom. So food organics, you will be reporting on your food, your food organics. You will be telling us about minimization programs up front that you have in place to reduce the amount of food overage each day, and then also plans in place to distribute any food waste that's recovered. So is that donated to local nonprofit organizations, or is it composted, for example? And then our zero waste category, this is the 2nd year we have this category, so we're very excited, and we did tweak it a little bit for those campuses that participated last year. So our per capita category, I'll jump into this one first. It's the most popular category of the competition. It's the category that's been around the longest for the last 20 years of the competition. And what this is campuses will report on their total recyclables for each week during the competition. So again, your cans, your bottles, your aluminum, that's your, cans, bottles, paper, and cardboard. And so we do have flexibility within the reporting system if you need to report that as a whole number, or you have your cans and bottles separated, and then your paper and your cardboard. This is a really great category if you're just getting started with the competition, because you are reporting on you're reporting only on your recyclables. You're not having to look at your trash or your food organics. Oh yeah, I just did get a question. We are recording the webinar, and I will have it posted by tomorrow or Monday. All right, so moving on, our diversion category. So this, another main category, this focuses on, so campuses that participate in this, you need to report on your trash, your total recyclables, and your food organics. And so I have the calculation up here on how campuses will be ranked in this category. So this awards a school with the highest waste diversion percentage, and that's figured out by reporting on all of those different streams of waste. All right, so the food organics category, so this has been around for several years. We have made a couple changes for this year. Really, a lot of the changes are in the messaging. We really wanted folks to understand that this category is about ensuring that there's not a lot of food waste at all. So we've increased, so with this category, you will report on your food organics. New for this year, we're requiring that campuses that participate must have a composting program on campus. And that question is asked during registration. And we've also added more points to waste minimization activities. So what that means is when campuses complete the registration form at the very beginning, like, so if you're you're signing up for the competition this fall, you'll fill out the registration survey, and there's a food organic section, and you will tell us what programs you have in place on campus that address food overage, meaning are your dining halls preparing meals a couple times a day to ensure there's not too much overage at the end of the day? Is there, you know, per plate portion control techniques in place? So we're really putting more emphasis on that, just recognizing campuses for everything they're trying to do to ensure that there's no, you know, very little food waste at the end of the day. And so then the second priority for the category then is, if you have food waste, what are you doing with it? Are you donating that to people? Are you donating that to animals? Is it going to go into, be converted into biofuels, or will it be composted? So then that's the second priority for this category. And the rules and details have been updated on the website. So it's just, like I said, no major changes for this category, but the one change is if your campus does not have a composting program for food, then you won't be able to participate in this category. So I'm happy to answer any questions about that as well. Oh yeah, our area is not composting serviceware. So it's just, you don't not necessarily have to be composting serviceware. We just want to ensure that composting, whether it's pre-consumer composting or you know, a composting post-consumer composting program is set up on the campus in any way. All right, so moving on. So this is our zero waste category. This is our second year to host this. So this is an 8-week category. This is an expansion of our Race to Zero Waste One Building Challenge, if you have participated in that in the past and you're familiar with that category. So second year we're offering this category. We did make some changes to it already. There was a handful of campuses that participated last year, so I don't think this will have any major impact on schools for this year, but we do hope you'll take a look at it and consider it. We are asking schools to track and report on 3 buildings on your campus, and we're asking for campuses to choose different types of buildings out of the list provided. So one administrative, a student-centered building, a residential building, and or an academic laboratory. And we've listed 4, not because not all campuses have residential buildings on campus. In addition to this category, you know, you're tracking and reporting on, for these 3 buildings, your trash, your recyclables, your materials for reuse, and your food organics. We ask campuses to do a waste audit. Now that we waived that requirement last year due to COVID and health and safety concerns and risks associated with waste audits. That is something we most likely will do again for 2021. We will make that decision probably actually in the next month or so. You know, I hope that things are different by the spring, but I think, you know, most likely we will waive that requirement because we don't want campuses to be putting any of their faculty or staff at risk in any way. And then another part of this competition, or another part of this category, is schools will receive additional points for waste minimization activities. And we have a listing there so you can tell us, do you have zero waste policies in place, that type of thing. All right, so the question is, can we report on more buildings than that? All right, so the report for that will only request reporting for 3 buildings, but we can, Alyssa, I can work with you and try to figure out the best way to do that since your numbers are coming in together. I'm sure we can figure out the best way to kind of break those numbers apart for you. All right, so new for 2021, I hope folks are excited about this. So for the 4 main categories, we are going to be recognizing 3 winners for each main category this year. So in the past, there's always been 1 winner per each main category, so 1 top ranking campus. So this year there will be 3. And the way that we are going to do this is we're going to do this according to the Carnegie classification. So if your campus falls within small or very small, medium, or large or very large. And we collect that information from you during the registration process. I've made that a required question this year, so that we will be recognizing, instead of 4 winners this year, we will be doing, I guess, 12 winners for the main category. So we're really excited about this. We decided to make this change. We wanted the opportunity to recognize more campuses and just really level the playing field. So small campuses weren't competing with very large campuses, for example. So we will, that's how we're moving forward with 2021. We will, at the end of the competition next summer, we will evaluate how this worked out. Hopefully we'll move forward with this. If not, we will, tweak it to ensure that we're moving towards a competition where we can recognize more and more campuses for their efforts, and making level the playing field as much as possible, so you're competing against similar size, similar campuses, really. All right, so this slide just really talks about what materials are tracked and reported on for each of these categories. I kind of already covered this. What's not accepted is on the right, so you can take a look at that. So you don't need to report on appliances, scrap metals, construction, medical waste, anything like that. Electronics, that's not part of the main categories, but we do have a separate special category for electronics. All right. So with our reporting for these categories, it's we ask that campuses report to us every week for the 8 weeks of the competition. We request reporting the Wednesday after the main week. So for example, if this was the first week, if this week was the first week of the competition, so this was the week of September 28th, I would request reporting for this week next Wednesday, which is October 7th. Now, we've always been flexible in the past. If you submit your report after that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, even a week later, I will review it once it comes in, and it will get approved, and it will go on the ranking. Now, the only difference is that, you won't be part of the, if your report is a little bit late, the ranking won't be current. So that's just something to keep in mind if you're reporting late. And I know a lot of campuses, if you don't have exact numbers from your hauler, you need to enter in estimates. You can do that, and then there's a review period after the competition closes for a couple weeks for you to go in, take a look at your data, and update it if you need to. All right, so let's move in. Oh, so this is just a screenshot of what the updated rankings look like on the website each week. And so once you get your report in, I review it, verify it, and then it'll take, a couple hours, no more than a day, to be updated within the system and the real-time ranking reports on the website. All right, so we're gonna touch on electronics in a few minutes. I know batteries are included. I will have to check on light bulbs for you. All right, so we do have some special category opportunities. Again, these are one-time reporting categories. You can do one of these, you can do more than one, and you can do one of these along with the 8-week reporting as well. The first one is electronics. So it does include, I think, Andrew, I'm going to have to check on the light bulbs for you. I will check that, and I will get that information to you because I don't remember off the top of my head, so I apologize. But all e-waste, so computers and printers, TVs, cell phones, that type of thing are included in electronics. And I can share whenever I share the recording out with you, I will pull the details for this for this category, because I know with electronics recycling, almost every single event will include or not exclude a certain type of material. VHS tapes, for example, are always something that may or may not be included. So this is a 1 month collection period. That doesn't mean you have to have your event for 1 month. It can be, 2 days, a weekend, it can be a 1 day. We also allow campuses to include the community in this category. This is the only category where you're able to open it up to the community beyond the campus borders. So, people that live in the community, churches, businesses, that type of thing. The only stipulation is that the drop-off needs to be on your campus grounds. So you'll need to work with facilities and transportation to place the drop-off in a way that's easy for folks that don't have parking permits or are familiar with the campus, can easily get on, drop it, and then leave. And for this category, we recognize the per capita as well as the total amount recycled as far as recognition. All right. Okay, going to game day basketball. So this is a one home game category. So you choose one home game. Again, this category, we are running this category for 2021. I'm not sure of what the basketball season is going to look like for next year. So we will wait and see. But moving forward, to participate in this category, it's select one home game. You will track and report on your recycling, your trash, and your food organics. We will also ask for schools or for participants to report on attendees for that game. So that is information that will be required to enter into your retrack report once you do this. And so it's one home game, and it needs to be it can actually be included in the preseason. So there's 2 preseason weeks, and then there's 8 weeks of the competition. Preseason usually begins mid-January. So if you have a home game, it can be anywhere from mid-January through the end of March. All right. So our next special category is our Race to Zero Waste one building competition. So this is different than the main category competition or main category. This is 1 month, and it is one building. So you will track all materials from a single building during that time. And we request actual weights, but if you need to do an estimate, that is fine too. If you need help on figuring out how to do that, let us know. As long as you, when you report on this, we'll ask you what that time frame is. So you are reporting on a full month, 4 full weeks during the competition time frame. Again, that can be mid-January, including those preseason weeks all the way through the end of the competition, which is the end of March. And the rankings for this, as well as the main, I didn't mention that, on the main zero waste 8-week category, is lowest total waste generation per 1,000 square feet of usable space. If you're able to do that, sometimes it's easier to get the size, not necessarily the usable space. And for this, we ask for trash, recycling, food organics, and materials for reuse. I've also added a new resource to the website if you're not sure how to weigh materials that you're donating, like if you're donating mattresses or you're donating coffee tables, whatever it is. There's a website, and I can share that as well with folks as we get closer. There's a couple good resources out there that can give you kind of estimate of weights on items like that if you're not able to measure it yourself on campus. All right, so, all right, I do see some questions, so I will make sure I address those. If a building doesn't have composting, can we leave out this category? So the Race to Zero Waste building competition. You don't necessarily have to have composting in that building. So yeah, you don't need to, you can still participate. You can still participate in this category. All right. So the case study competition, we call it a competition, but it's a little bit different. Really, this is the opportunity for campuses to share their strategies around waste minimization, food waste reduction, and education and awareness. And we have a resource on the website called Learn from Your Peers. And so case studies that are submitted to us, they're reviewed. We do recognize a winner in each of those categories: waste minimization, food waste, and education and awareness. And once those campuses are recognized, we post them on the website and we do communications around it. So it's an opportunity for campuses to help other schools that are working on similar efforts. And it's also a really good opportunity to receive recognition for your efforts. We usually leave that opportunity open through the end of May. So the competition ends at the end of March. So then you'll have a couple months to get your, kind of decide on what you want to share and submit that case study. And I believe I just sent an email blast out yesterday highlighting the 2020 case studies. And so those are, I've posted those and I've shared that out through email. So I hope you've seen those. All right, so on the case, so does the need to be done during the 8-week competition, or do the actions have to happen during the competition for the case study? So not necessarily. In fact, we actually, when we do a call for case studies, we open it beyond campuses that participate in the competition. So if you want to highlight an effort that takes place in the fall or the summer, that's completely fine. When we do scoring, I think there's probably 1 or 2 points that a campus will receive if it's tied directly to the Campus Race to Zero Waste competition in the spring. But that certainly, but that doesn't exclude you from highlighting another effort. So yeah, we really just want this. We really want campuses to participate in this opportunity because we really want to build this database and get a lot of different diverse strategies within the resource to help campuses help with recognition, because you all are doing this great work, and so any type of recognition is wonderful that you can share with your administration, share with your students, and that type of thing. But we also really want to be able to have a diverse case study database with different strategies, different areas, especially from schools that are maybe just getting started and schools that have advanced programs. So my very long answer is absolutely, it doesn't have to be part of the competition or within that time frame. It can be any effort taking place on your campus that falls within one of those 3 categories. All right, so the steps to get ready. So registration is open. We opened it last week. Like I said, I really encourage folks to begin organizing now, getting your teams together. And when I say teams, it's always good to have more than one person working on the competition. You can get the word out more, help with tracking and reporting, just get different skills on your team. Somebody might be very creative, somebody might be really good with data, somebody might be really good with design work, website work, that type of thing. All right, so there's 2 steps for registration. So for those of you that have participated in the past, you already have a ReTrack account. If you need any help with that, if you've changed staff or you've forgotten your password, just let me know. So you'll log into ReTrack. For those that have not participated in the past, you will just go to the registration link and you'll create a new account. So that's pretty easy. Again, I can answer any questions for you. And then you'll fill out the 2021 registration profile summary. And that's the registration form, basically. And once you submit that, you'll submit it as complete. I'll review it, verify it, and then you'll be all set. You can also start that registration. You can start your registration and save it as draft. So if you aren't sure of categories you want to participate in, or you need to just gather different data, you just save it as draft, go all the way to the bottom and ensure you save it so you don't lose that information, and you can come back into it and complete it at any time. Registration doesn't close until the end of January, so you have plenty of time. All right, so this is your campus profile page on ReTrack. So once if you've participated in the past, once you log into ReTrack, you have access to your old data, and you'll have a profile page. And for new campuses, that's really one of the benefits of this program, is that if you have participated, if this is your first year and then you participate next year, you're able to compare that data and see where you have improved or you need to identify areas of improvement. All right, so I wanted to highlight a couple of resources that we offer on the website and just let you know. So we have a planning checklist, we have rules. In the next week or so, I will be adding to the website the new materials for the 2021 competition with our new logo. So I will make sure all of our new logos are on the website for you to download and use on your materials. And we also provide a couple of different promotional materials that you can use. You can customize, so I will get those online in the next week or two, so to not hold up your planning. And we will have a webinar at the end of this month focused on engaging your campus community in the competition. And what that is, it's just different strategies around education and awareness about the competition. We really encourage you. Yes, I absolutely will send another email out about that webinar with the registration link so you can sign up. And that's probably one of the biggest things I would say. It's so important. I think if you have the capacity, I understand not everybody has, good sized teams and the capacity to do outreach. But if you can let your campus know that your school is participating in the competition and keep them updated, I find that that's just really important to get engagement, people excited and participating in the activities that you organize. All right, one resource I wanted to highlight, National Wildlife Federation. We just released this new guide a couple weeks ago. It's called Stemming the Tide. It's focused on how campuses are addressing plastic pollution, how you all are looking at your purchasing of plastics and your recycling of plastics and implementing strategies on campus to reduce the use of plastics. A big section of the guide focuses on what the plastic pollution problem is and its impacts on humans and wildlife. So I encourage you to check out the guide. We are doing a webinar, we're hosting a webinar we'll have an overview of the guide, but we will also have a couple campus featured on the webinar. It's at the same time next Thursday, October 8th. And I will be sending an email announcing this webinar. I've highlighted it a few times, but I will send another email about this webinar on Monday. So if you haven't registered, I encourage you to register. I think it's a good guide. I think we're looking at it, we released it a couple weeks ago. Campuses, not everybody's on campus. There's a lot of concerns right now and different policies right now around the use of reusable materials, cups, mugs, food containers, reusable bags due to COVID. So with the understanding that things are a little bit different now, practices on campuses related to this topic might be halted. They might be revived in a couple months. So just keeping that in mind, but we're really hoping folks join the webinar, take a look at the guide, and if you're not able to implement it now, you can save it till the spring or even into the summer of next year. All right, so data tracking and logistics, that's probably one of the biggest topics that campuses are interested in learning more about the competition. For those of you that have participated in the past, you already know how to do it, but of course I can answer any questions, especially if you have new staff on board or if your situation has changed. You might your hauler might not be able to give you exact data. So you might have to do volume to weight estimates. If you need help with that, please let us know. We are hosting that webinar focused on tracking and reporting on December 3rd. However, please reach out before that if you have any questions, just so you can feel like get everything together so you feel good about starting the competition. So key dates to remember, I've already mentioned the webinars, so I will keep everybody updated and send you emails to register for those if you're interested. The preseason weeks start on January 17th, so mid-January. The last day to register is the end of January, and that is also the first day of the competition, so January 31st. Goes through the end of March. We will do unofficial results by April 16th. And we do that because we're really trying, we want to, what that means is we haven't done a final vetting yet, but we want to get those posted so folks can kind of share their ranking in the competition for Earth Day and Earth Month. And then final results will be announced at the end of April. And so what we do during that time, so once the competition closes, we give schools 2 weeks to go in, look at your data, make any changes you need to. And then we'll take a look and highlight or identify the top ranking campuses per category. And then once we've done that and ensure that everything looks good, we reach out to the individual campuses, request their data, and we have a phone call with them. We vet each of the top ranking campuses, just have kind of a discussion to just ensure that everything looks good and that the data matches up. You know, there was no errors on the retrack side or the campus side for instance. And so that's what we use that time for. And then we will get the final announcement out. Let's see. Okay, of all the, I'm going to stop for a question. It says, of all the competition areas, which do you have to register for or not register for? It seems I remember not having to register for case study. Yes, so during the registration process, we do ask you if you're going to participate in a case study, but even if you don't check that box, you can always submit a case study. So yeah, that's no problem. But if you want to compete in any of the 4 competition categories or any of the 3 special categories, basketball, electronics, or race to zero waste, you do need to opt into that during registration process. All right, so and then I had a question, do you have a volume to weight conversion that can be used consistently across various campuses? We actually do have details about the volume to weight conversion that you can use. And that is listed. I'll make a note whenever I follow up. I'm making a note of some things to follow up with folks on. So I will direct you to that link. I believe it's an EPA resource that we use for that volume to weight to make it as consistent as possible across campuses. Also understanding, you know, we obviously exact weights are ideal, but if we understand that that's not possible, probably for about 50% of the campuses participating. So I will send that information. I'll send you the link to where those details are on the website. Okay, all right, so why was the name changed? We decided to change the name from Recyclemania to Campus Race to Zero Waste for a couple reasons. The competition was just more about recycling. It had grown, you know, when the competition started in 2001, the main category, the main participation opportunity was around recycling, but it has grown to really look at waste minimization as a whole. And that's the goal of the program, to really reduce your waste, reuse, and then recycle. And we felt like we just needed a new name to reflect the path that we're headed on, you know, really helping campuses move towards zero waste. Now, there's a technical definition of zero waste. We certainly don't expect campuses to have zero waste goals, all have zero waste goals or plans in mind, but we are committed to making sure that we have engagement opportunities within the program for all campuses. So whether you're just getting started with your recycling program or you have advanced zero waste programs. There are a lot of schools out there that are just really getting started, or they're trying to relaunch, or they want, they want to grow it. And then again, we have participants that have really advanced programs. They have zero waste coordinators and goals and plans and policies on their campus. So that was kind of the main reason we changed our name last spring and changed our logo. Let's see. Okay, and so the next question, would we be required to use the volume to weight conversion? So Robin, if you, no, we recommend an option for you, and I'll send that link out. If you want to use something different, that's fine. That's fine. So, and I'm happy to talk through that with you. We also have some, like I said, board members that are recycling and waste coordinators, sustainability coordinators and directors on campuses. I could put you in touch with one of them that's how they do that. They do the volume to weight conversion on their campus. So for instance, if your school is one of the top ranking campuses and we reach out to you to request documentation, if you do volume to weight, that's completely fine. We just would ask you how you did that and kind of some of the materials to back that up. All right, so this is the last slide. Then I'm gonna see if there's any more questions. So beyond the competition, we're going to be doing this moving forward for all competition years, not just this year due to COVID, because I think it's important to provide opportunities for engagement beyond the competition. We want to really provide year-round programming for schools that are interested. And so a couple of ideas for this year, if you're not able to participate in the competition for capacity reasons, safety reasons, for example, I really encourage schools, you could use the competition timeframe to launch digital campaigns around waste reduction and recycling. We have a couple quizzes that we've just launched as part of our promotions around the new guide. So you might be able to share those. Those are kind of fun quizzes. I think once students, faculty, and staff get back to campus, like full-time, fully operational, I think it's going to be a real opportunity for everyone to kind of revive your efforts and re-educate, remind, and really help people get back to when it's safe, when the guidance is safe, that you can kind of go back to some of these regular practices that we had before February or March of this year. I think it's just going to take some time for folks to kind of get back to their good sustainability practices, their good practices around waste minimization and using reusable items. So I look at that as an opportunity. I think it's going to be quite a challenge, but an opportunity too. So you could always use this spring time frame as a way, if you can't participate, is to launch a campaign and just get folks ready to be back in the fall or ready for summer. We also have in this professional development webinar series, so we're having a couple webinars this fall and spring that are not competition specific, so I encourage you to check those out. I already mentioned our new guide, Stemming the Tide, that has 2 quizzes around it that kind of support it, so that's a really good resource. I also put together a new web page. It's within the Campus Race to Zero Waste website. If you click resources, it says student resources. There's a lot of different, some of it, I kind of just compiled it together and there's some new stuff there. But if you're interested in engaging your students, specifically helping them gain leadership skills as part of competition planning and implementation, I encourage you to check out that webpage within our site. I think it has some really good resources. All right, and so I will just go back to this slide. This has our information. I'm gonna pause. I want to look through the questions and see if I answered everything and give folks an opportunity to ask any more questions. But like I said, I will get this presentation, the recording, posted to the website. I will email you and let you know when it's ready. I will also follow up with the information around electronics materials specifically and the volume to weight conversion guidance. And please feel free to call me or email me at any time with questions. The email addresses on the screen, both of them work. We are transitioning over, but I'm trying to make sure that if you're using recyclemania@nwf.org, it will still go to our email address. I don't want to make a complete shift and turn things off because I don't want anybody to have any problems getting in contact with us with questions. All right, let's see. So I have a question. How can we encourage buying less plastic rather than recycling, which isn't actually recycled often? So, that's a really good question. And I encourage you, Charles, to one, check out the guide. There's a whole section on, the first section is about reduction of plastic. So it talks about purchasing, kind of the purchasing different departments on campus, encouraging students, faculty, and staff to use reusables, considering ban policies on campus for some of these different plastic products. So I encourage you to take a look at the guide, and I also encourage you, if you can, to participate in next Thursday's webinar. It's October 8th at 2 p.m. There's a lot of great information and campus stories in that guide that talks about how different schools are doing that. All right, so the next question, will you also make the surplus items conversion guide available to everyone? Oh yeah, so that, I will highlight that resource. I listed that resource on, it's a very good question. I just linked that resource. Oh, I know where I linked it now. I'm really glad you asked that question, Nathan, because I linked it within the zero waste category. The main zero waste category. I will make sure it's available in both the Race to Zero Waste category as well, and maybe on the main resources page, because it's a really good resource. So I'll make sure I do that, so you don't have to go on a scavenger hunt to find it on the website. All right, let me see. I want to see if I feel like I missed a couple questions. So let me see if I can. Let's see. Okay. All right, so one question I didn't answer. For the zero waste category, what kind of materials are included in materials collected for reuse? So that would be any items that are coming out of that building that will be donated. So typical items could be, any kind of maybe school supplies, any type of furniture, mattresses, that type of thing. There's really not a limit. The only thing I would say is you could, we do have a list of materials that aren't accepted, but that's more around recycling. So I say there's really not any restrictions on that. It's just, typical items that might be coming out of your building for donation. It could be electronic materials, for example. And they are reported by weight. And so that was one of the things I was just saying. I have identified, actually, I didn't identify it. I believe it was the University of Michigan highlighted a resource for me that was really useful on helping them put weights to certain items for their materials for reuse collection. So I will lift that resource up so you have access to it, and so it's easy for you to determine a weight for different items. Okay, so I have, next question. Any advice for recycling plastic corrugated boards used in A-frame signs? Is electronic cement, okay. Any advice for recycling? I don't have any advice right now, Connie, but let me look into that question for you, okay? I don't wanna, I don't think I have a good answer for you right now. So I will get back to you. I'm gonna make sure I save this this chat session so I don't lose these questions. All right. All right, so let me see. All right, so electronics is electronics measured by number of items or collected weight. So we have two rankings for electronics. We do per capita, and we also do total weight collected. So when you'll report on the total weight collected. And the reason we have that second category is it's really an encouragement for campuses to invite the campus or to invite the local community to be part of your event. That also gives you an opportunity to not only give them a place to drop off their electronics, it gives you an opportunity to tell them what you're doing on campus. Do you have volunteer opportunities? Do you need support for any reason? Whatever it is, it's just a good opportunity to give them a place to drop their electronics and to give the campus club, team, whatever it is, an opportunity to share information back out with the local community, or, if you have a request of them, if you need any kind of assistance in any way, you're looking for donations, you're looking for support, that's a good way to kind of share that information as well. All right, let me see. All right, I have one more question. Is there a way to compare the drastic differences in recycling systems? For example, places that recycle glass versus those who don't have local end markets and therefore can't accept it. Is there a way to compare the... Alyssa, I'm not sure. Do you mean, let me see. Alyssa, I'm not sure I understand, I understand kind of the difference, kind of the complications and with the recycling industry as a whole right now, especially with plastics. Certain items right now are much easier to be recycled. Cardboard, paper, aluminum, glass is a little bit more tricky. Plastics are, you've got your numbers 1 through 7. There's always the question of, is it actually recycled or not? So that's a question for your hauler. And a more specific question is what happens to it? What's it going into? What's its next life? So Alyssa, I will follow up with you on that question to see if I can get you a better answer or some resources to address that. All right. So any sessions at ASHE, Stuart, thank you I'm glad you asked that. Yes, we are hosting a networking session. So we have 2 sessions at ASHE. We have one is a networking session. It is at 2:30 on October 20th. We are partnering with Plan on this networking session, and it's focused on really just working towards zero waste on campus. It is a live session, so there won't be any pre-recorded presentations or anything like that. So I encourage you to join. I will include that info in my email to you so you don't have to remember that, because I know there's a lot of sessions at ASHE. And then another opportunity, which I will also highlight for you. So this is the 2020 competition. So the competition that we finished in the spring was the 20th competition. So this year is the 20th anniversary of Recyclemania into Campus Race to Zero Waste. So we put together a 20th anniversary video, which I think is very cool. Although I worked a lot on it, so of course I think it's very cool. But I encourage you to check it out. We submitted it as a lightning talk within ASHE, and I also, once I get it posted to YouTube, I will also be sharing it out through social media and email. It's fun. There's a lot of campus highlights in it. Tells the story from 2001, which just doesn't seem that far away, but I guess it's been 20 years. So it's a really cool video. So I will share that with you all, because I encourage you to take a look at it. The video is 10 minutes, so it's a little bit longer than your average kind of YouTube video, but it's a fun story, especially if you've been participating for several years. It's cool to see all the changes and how the program has grown. All right, well, hey, I wanna, we're almost at 3 o'clock. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. If I didn't answer your question, I will get back in touch with you and answer your question. And I will also let you know, I have a few items to follow up with you on, and I also will let you know once the recording is posted on the website. And again, thank you for joining us. Please reach out with any questions, and I encourage you to go and register for the competition right after you end this webinar this afternoon. Take care.